Okay.
Rightio.
We're recording. Right.
Rightio. Well, welcome back, everybody, or welcome if you're joining us for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a slice of fried gold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Paddy. This is
I'm
Ben. And this is episode 21.
It is.
We are back in the car.
Yes.
Because
Back in the car.
Back in the car. Last week we were at my house.
Yep.
Today we're back on the road. On the road again.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Come on, sing with me.
No. Donkey Shrek. Main character sidekick. That sounds.
Go ahead, mate. Yeah, I'll be Donkey. I got the fucking dragon.
Yeah.
You're an ogre.
Yeah, we knew that. Well, what's new? Tell me.
Well, exactly.
I'm a stupid, unlovable ogre.
Oh god. It's gonna be a depressing one, guys.
Of course it is. So how are you?
I'm okay. I'm still getting over my death flu.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still pretty ill.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I'm alright.
That's good.
I'm back to work. Back to work was killer because, like, first day back, I was on breakfast, so I was up at like 6:30 in the morning.
Oh.
Well, yeah, especially when you haven't been waking up until like 11 o'clock every day for like 3 weeks. Well,
Yeah,
I say that when
you're an adult and you realize these things, what you do is the few days leading up to it, you plan, you prep. Go, right, okay, so
you're a good prepper then.
I am quite a good prepper. I've not had complaints. But it's like, right, if I'm waking up at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning,
yeah,
and I haven't been using an alarm for the last 3 weeks, maybe it's Saturday, Sunday, I won't set an alarm for 6, but I'll set an alarm for earlier in the day to like kind of like get your body, your mind back into that mindset. So if you were a competent adult,
I was competent. I was getting up at I was setting an alarm and I was waking up at like 8:30, and I was being prepared.
I feel like I should apologise because I've already attacked you twice in this podcast.
I know. I feel like
I'm going to get a message from your mum, aren't I?
She's going to be like, Ben, why are you being so mean to Paddy?
Yeah.
He's got a lot on at the moment.
We're all going to get a message from her. I thought you and Ben were friends.
All he does is insult you. That's the relationship, mother.
I've had that for 15 years now.
I thought it was longer than that.
Oh, it probably is.
I'm
just... Are you more proud of me that I didn't do a fucking Harry Potter reference?
I was waiting for it. I tried to cut you off before you could.
I nearly did the whole... What is it? Is it 13 or 14 years? It's 14 years.
I did my year. I did my time.
14 years in Azkaban. Yeah. I was like, it would be funny in the moment, but it's not the right time. So, yeah,
But we still brought it up.
Of course. It's me. I'm always going to use a moment to bring up Harry Potter.
Of course.
I was sitting at work the other day and, like, across the office, someone started talking about Harry Potter and like, oh, yeah, I really love it. Look, my notebook's got a snitch on it. And I was just like, don't go over. Just don't. I'm good. I'm strong. I don't need to go over and talk about Harry Potter.
I must do work.
I bet it's like you. I bet you, the moment you hear the word Batman, your ears just go...
It's not even Batman now. It's like anything. I'll be in the restaurant and somebody go, a couple of weeks back, a few weeks back, when The Last of Us started.
Yeah.
There was like OAPs talking about it.
Right.
Have you watched that Last of Us on Sky? It's very good. And I was like, you need to watch it. Watch all of it. It's going to be brilliant. And they were like, it's only just started. How do you know that? And I was like, it's based on a video game. And I played the video game. And they were like, oh, my grandson has said about that.
My grandson plays video games.
And I was just like, I don't know whether or not to be happy or sad, but please, just make sure you watch it. It was really good, by the way, in the end. I know you haven't watched it. Not yet.
But maybe this weekend, Easter weekend, 4 days off, sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I might.
Yeah, you might do.
Never know.
Funny enough, actually, I was going to bring it up later, but since we're kind of on that topic, because you brought up Harry Potter, they've obviously...
Harry Potter. Yeah.
Tick. Anyway, they've obviously announced, or I think it was leaked.
Yes.
I don't think they've officially confirmed it, but it has been heavily rumoured and or leaked that they are rebooting Harry Potter or
They
readapting
are-
the novels.
HBO and Warner Brothers are in talks.
Yeah. That they're
As
going
you
to do a
said,
TV
it could be
show.
leaked. I think, you know what? It's
I
probably
think-
been leaked by HBO themselves.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers to test the waters to to see people's things,
to see people's reactions and
yeah,
their opinions.
and what they. I think it's a good idea. However, I still think it's too soon.
Yeah.
I think it's too soon. I feel they should be leaving it. I mean, it's only been what? How long since the last one come out?
13 years.
I mean,
Yes.
I know some movies get rebooted quite more regularly, but I do think that for this, and because it is still massive, you've just had the Fantastic Beasts series and things like that. I still think it's a bit too soon.
I agree with you in parts. However, with how the last few films ended up having to completely rewrite the plots in order to make it make sense, because they'd realized that they'd cut out certain bits in the earlier films which now were important. To case in point, Harry can suddenly hear Horcruxes.
Yeah, exactly.
And if the leak is to be believed, they're going to not only reboot it and do one season per book, but they're also going to extend the plot lines, extend it, go further, go deeper, really delve in.
Okay.
You're not just like how I read that is you're not just going to go and have Harry's point of view for everything. You might get Malfoy's point of view. You might get Voldemort's point of view. You might get Snape's point of view.
Yeah.
They might see
a bit of Ron when he's not with Harry and Hermione in the last one. Things like that. I think it could work. I think it's there, but when I mean it's like too soon, they don't. If they start developing it now and maybe start thinking, go right. Well, we're going to take a year to develop it. We're going to take a year to write the scripts out and develop and the plot and everything. And if it means that they don't start filming it, say in 5 years' time, then I would be happy. What I don't want is for them to suddenly go, yeah, we're going to bash out a script next week and we're going to start filming it in next month.
I will reserve my judgment until I see how Netflix do with Avatar: The Last Airbender, because of course they've also done the same thing of, we're going to develop it, we're going to extend the plot lines, we're going to go deeper into the characters and everything. So if they do a good enough job with that, I will have more faith and hope for the reboot Harry Potter. If they do terribly, my faith in the reboot of Harry Potter will be still strong. Harry Potter. But it will be weaker.
I agree with that, and I also think that HBO won't try and put out rubbish, if that makes sense. If you look at The Last of Us, I mean, Game of Thrones is not a brilliant example. However, they obviously didn't have all the books.
No.
Where they've got all the books, they've got all the information.
Yes.
So it's easier to work out A to B.
Yeah.
Or A to Z,
100%.
Which I think will be a big help. But yeah, I'm glad you brought up Harry Potter, because that was a nice little segue.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. I'm gonna have to put that in now, aren't I?
Yes.
Right. So yeah, how are you?
Well, I have had a week.
Oh, okay.
So, work's been really, really busy. Partly because, of course, we're now into April, which means the new financial year. To the point where April the 1st was, of course, a Saturday.
Yes.
I came into work on Monday, and one of my customers had sent me 12 new jobs Saturday morning. So obviously, they must have just, Saturday morning, they've been given their new budget, and they've rammed through 12 new jobs just like that. And it's just like, okay, so you've obviously been waiting for your budget to renew.
Or they would literally, they set the timer to send the email at that time,
So work has been lovely and busy.
Right.
And, all the weird customers are coming out of the woodwork with all the weird questions. I have one customer who is a little bit old. He's 87.
Wow.
It's Still working. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Still uses AOL.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a callback.
Yeah. And I haven't heard from him in a couple of months. And I was kind of like, I was going to my boss and I was like, he's 87. We haven't heard from him in a month or so.
Should we be worried?
I'm not going to say what's on my mind, but do you think? And he's like, it's possible. And so we went over to the accounts department. We were like, how much money does he owe us?
Oh my god.
And thankfully, the accounts department were like, why? He paid us yesterday. We're like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. We're still good. We just haven't heard from him. He's just not got a new job. Okay, it's fine. We're good. But yeah, so that was a kind of a. Do we think is he? Do we possibly?
Has he got family?
Do we ring? You know,
Just go, oh, howdy. Just checking in.
Just checking in.
Happy new financial year.
You got any new jobs?
Not that we need the business,
No.
but just making sure.
Yeah. And so so work's been great fun.
Yeah.
And then there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I completely forgotten what it is. You know me, my mind's like fucking sieve.
Yep.
I'll probably remember it at 2 o'clock this morning or whatever.
That's fine. I'll still be fast asleep.
Yes, of course you will. But interesting thing. So I either read somewhere on the internet or watched it on TikTok about this whole thing of after you go to the gym, submerge yourself in cold water for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to do really well for your metabolism and your muscle repair and everything. Have you ever tried to keep count of 3 minutes when you put yourself in freezing cold water?
No.
And your body goes into shock?
No.
I can tell you now, fucking hard.
I bet.
I tried to do it this morning and then instantly when I turned my shower on to cold, and I was like, right, 180, 179, 100, you know, and I was like, what time is it? What time is it?
I like how you decided to count down instead of trying counting forward. Might have been slightly easier.
I don't know. Either way, counting down, counting forward, you still have to count, you still have to track how long it's been that you submerge yourself in freezing cold water.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that you haven't got a bath either.
No.
Yeah, because funny enough, obviously with the issues with my back and everything,
Yes.
I have been looking it up, and maybe just trying to do that. But I'm glad that at least you've tried, and I know that I probably won't be able to do it.
Well, because, I mean, you know me, in the summer months I tend to have cold showers anyway because I just, the heat and me do not agree.
Yeah.
And I love a cold shower. So when I was reading this, I was like, I could do this. 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's like when we went to Budapest and did the baths.
Oh.
And you were the only one that wanted to find the cold bath. And there was me and... Have we got a nickname?
I don't know. I think we have had a nickname forever. We've probably forgotten.
We're going to have to write a list of everybody's names and nicknames because this is ridiculous. But obviously, me and that person, we were just like, no, hot bath.
Unigirl. Let's just call it Unigirl.
Yeah, I think that might have been it.
Might have been, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, Unigirl, we were just like, hot baths all the way.
Yeah.
All the way.
So for the watchers at home who've never been to Budapest, of course, there's lots of famous Roman baths there.
Yeah.
There was one that we went to, and they had this corridor, and there was lots of little pools in said corridor, and the whole gimmick was each pool was colder than the previous. And the whole idea is you start in the nice warm hot one, and each one you get slightly colder and colder and colder and colder until what was the last one? Was it like 10 degrees or something like that?
I was cold looking at you then.
I loved it. It was like, oh, this is nice.
No.
This is good.
No.
It was beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss on the cold bath. But yeah, trying to do it in the shower, it's a lot harder, and then trying to keep track and keep count is difficult as well.
Yeah, no, I'm not so sure about that one. I think I'd like to try it, but I don't see me keeping it up.
Yeah. Just remembered what else I wanted to tell you about.
Okay, right. Okay.
So, episode 18.
Yes.
I told you about a salesperson who called up.
Oh, yes.
He has returned.
Oh, the return of the salesman.
Guess who answered the phone?
Oh, no. Okay.
So, calls up on Monday.
Yep.
Instantly recognised the voice, and I was like, right, here we go. And he's like, yeah, I want to talk to the boss because the contract expires on Wednesday. And I was like, yeah, the boss doesn't want to talk to you. And he's like, what do you mean the boss doesn't want to talk to you? And I was like, well, he's getting lots of sales calls because the energy contract is up soon. And he doesn't want to talk to you because he's waiting for all the offers to come through before he decides what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I can't take that from you. I need to take that from the boss. I was like, okay, sure. And he's like, so you're going to put me through? No. Is my road closed? My road is closed. Well, that is fun.
Okay. Bear with, people.
We might have to pull over to do final thoughts. But
or we might just have to loop back around.
We'll find out. Anyway, he was like, yeah, well, your contract ends on Wednesday. And he started getting irate.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, your contract ends on Wednesday, and when the contract's over, we'll sue you. I was like, sorry, sue us? Why?
This man is obsessed with suing.
Why are you going to sue us? He's like, well, you'll owe us money. I was like, I'm sorry, but the contract will be over. How will we owe you money? And he's like, don't you understand? I was like, no, please, do explain it to me. Because I really want to know. I really want to get into your mindset. He's like, yeah, well, we'll sue you because it's a loss of business. It's like, but the contract's over. So there's no loss of... Yeah. Where is this loss of business you talk of?
Yeah.
The contract is over. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I was like, well, funnily enough, most businesses in the UK, once the contract's over, go to a rolling monthly contract. He's like, no, that's not how this one works. I was like, okay, sure, crack on. Anyway, he hangs up.
Yeah.
I tell the boss, and the boss is like, so if we come in on Wednesday and there's no electricity, we know who to blame. And I kind of, at that moment, I was kind of like, yeah, maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do. Anyway, guess what day it is today?
Oh, yes, Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. I still need to drive.
I was so in depth with the story. I completely forgot that today is actually Wednesday. Right. Okay. I see where this is going now.
So anyway,
okay.
Got into the office this morning.
Yeah.
Everything's still on.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So anyway, we all have a laugh and joke about it.
Yeah.
Guess who calls back? Sales guy. And at this point, everyone's learned the number. And so they go, Ben, your boyfriend's calling. Yes! Let me just put my job down aside for a second.
I have to call you back.
So I answer the phone. I'm like, hello. And he's like, can I speak to the boss, please? I was like, yep. And he's like, oh, not you again. And he literally says that. I'm like, yeah, me again. And he's like, so your contract is expired. I was like, has it? Because if it's expired, how are you calling? If it's expired, surely this phone line would not work. And he's like, no. Wednesday was the cutoff for your renewal. I was like, so how long until we officially cut off the contract? He's like, July is when your contract ends. I was like, oh, so we've got 4 months. Right.
Oh, God.
So why are you calling now if we've got 4 months to go? And he starts getting irate. And he goes, where do you live? And I go, I live by a charming little seaside. I get to see seagulls and boats. And it's so lovely in the summer. You should really come visit. And I go, where do you live? And he goes, why do you need to know that? And I was like, well, you just asked me where I live. It's a to and fro. It's a back and forth. Like, you can't ask me where I live and not reciprocate.
Stop filling up.
This is when he launches into all the insults. Oh yeah, the whole office is crying as well.
God. Okay.
This is when he launches into the insults of you're nothing, you're scum, you're dirt on the bottom of your boss's shoes, you're... The best one was when he went, you're low budget. I was like, oh. Anyway, I just let him rant for about 10 minutes. And people out there who have to deal with people, so in other words, if you work in customer services, if you ever get an angry phone call, the best advice I can give you is let them rant. Just let them run themselves out of steam. Because if you snap back, if you answer back, that just gives more fuel. what is the thing? To feed a fire, you need oxygen, fuel, and heat.
Yeah.
If you respond to someone who's having an insult at you, having a proper rant at you, you're giving them more oxygen. You're feeding that fire.
Yeah.
So just sit there, let them rant, and eventually they'll run out of things to say, and they'll sound more and more pathetic, and they'll kind of, they'll start at 100 miles an hour, and then they'll slowly slow down, and slow down, and slow down. And it's exactly what he did. He just ranted and ranted and ranted, calling me low budget and scum and a complete waste of space and all, everything that he could think of. And after 10 minutes, I just sort of went, "Are you done?" And he goes, "Oh, you want me to insult you more?" And I just went, "I'd like you to insult me better." And then he hung up.
Oh my God.
He hung up, and I was like, "Come on, we were just getting to the good bit."
That was the foreplay.
So yeah, I can't wait for him to call back again. Because we've got till July.
This is going to be an ongoing segment, and I am here for it. I am here for it. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that's the funniest thing you've ever said to me. Oh, God's sake. Oh, goodness. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
To put the aircon right online.
Oh my God.
I just yeah.
How did you forget that?
We have just been to see a movie. Segway.
I segue back. This is still too funny. Oh, good God.
I can't wait for him to call back.
I'm gonna have to make like an animatic of like what pops up that says like Ben versus the Salesman.
Oh, my boss is fully set. Like after the phone call, my boss was like, "I know they're harassing us, but I don't know who's doing the more harassment now, you or him."
Oh.
Like, "Don't worry, boss, got it covered."
The thick-skinned, I can take it.
And to the point now where he's literally like, "Yeah, you can take all the sales calls." I was like, "I've got it, boss. I am your man on this job.
Got you covered.
Got you covered. You don't want those sales calls? I will make it so you don't get those sales calls."
Oh,
my God, they will rue the day.
They will rue the day they mess with Ben Middleton.
Because this is the thing. Growing up, I've always hated sales calls. I'm very much of a, "Do you want this product? No. Okay, thank you very much." So when people keep trying and trying and trying, that's when I start to have an issue. I remember once when I was like 11 or 12, I kept getting sales calls for credit cards.
Yeah.
And so eventually I had enough. So I just went, "Yeah, really? Tell me more. Yeah, that sounds amazing. And you'll give me this deal?" Hour and a half I had this guy on the phone for. And afterwards he's like, "So can I take some bank details and some contact details and the name and address and all that?" And I just went, "Nope." He's like, "What? But I thought you said this was all amazing." I was like, "Yeah, for an 18-year-old. And he goes, "What? How old are you?" And I was like, 12. Because, "So why have you been wasting my time then?" I was like, "Well, you see, waste my time. I'll waste yours back." I didn't get another phone call from that credit card company after that.
I bet you did. Oh, right. Okay, let's segue back to the movie now. That was good. That was really good. Okay, so
we have just been to see Dungeons and Dragons. Do I need to carry on whilst you compose yourself?
I'm there. Go there now. Right, yeah. Just been to see Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Initial thoughts, Ben?
Really good. I really enjoyed it. You want me to say more, don't you? Okay.
Yeah, because my throat really hurts.
Sorry. I know you're not well, and I just made you laugh. Right. Okay. So yes, Dungeons and Dragons. I'm trying to think now. I just want the Indian guy to call back again.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, really good, really fun. Just your bog standard fantasy film.
Yeah.
Nothing really much. I will say one thing. there is a lot of jumping between locations. And I know that a lot of people had an issue with Game of Thrones for that, because it's like, oh, how can that character get from A to B in the space of 3 hours?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that in this film, because they had a lot of locations to get to, which were like right across the map, but they had a time limit because they had to be at a certain place at the end of the film. And I was kind of sitting there going, it's like, well, you're kind of like destroying this narrative by having them go here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing with that is that the easy fix is to say, instead of we've only got a week, you do the classic thing, especially in a fantasy movie, you go, we've got until the summer solstice or something, 3 weeks away.
Well, you don't even have to say 3 weeks. We've got until the summer solstice. That could be a day away, that could be a year away.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little easy fix. I felt the same. I did feel the same. Overall, I thought it was a really good film. I had a really great time. It was really funny. I thought the action in it was good. I liked the characters and their development within the stories. And one thing I didn't think I'd be saying is I really enjoyed the use of the practical effects of the costumes of the creatures and things like that. Obviously we've been getting a lot of that lately in like things like the Mandalorian and Kenobi TV shows coming back, and I'm really, really happy to see it coming back instead of everything just being CGI.
Yeah.
Because it actually gives the actors to something to play off, as opposed to just a tennis ball or a man in a mocap suit.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the use of practical effects in this movie. Okay, yeah, a couple of bits of the CGI were a bit dodgy, but even in like big budget MCU movies these days, the CGI is a bit dodgy because they're overstretched. The fact that they use practical effects and practical creature costumes was brilliant in my eyes. Yes. I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Because I think Dungeons and Dragons still holds that sort of like connotation of nerd. So I think they probably didn't throw as much money at it as they normally would have.
Yeah.
You know, had it been a Game of Thrones or something like that, they would have probably thrown loads more money at it. But Dungeons and Dragons still has that bit of connotation of nerd.
Yeah.
However, they did really well.
They did really, really well. And I'm hoping, and it's not very often I say this, I am actually hoping it sparks some more movies.
Yes. Well, this is the thing, because I think it has to be called Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, because there are a few already, like, direct-to-TV films.
Well, there was one original one that came out in the early 2000s that had Jeremy Irons in it.
Right, yeah.
And the guy who played Jimmy from the Lois and Clark Superman TV show back in the 90s.
Right, okay.
Jimmy Olsen. And Marlon Wayans was in it as well.
Okay.
That was, looking back, it's a bad film.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I was like, this is amazing. But that was very dark, that movie, where I thought this was very, even though it was a dark movie with dark elements, it was actually quite light-hearted.
Yeah.
And it had some good comedy in it to bring it up.
It had some really good comedy.
Chris, I know that, like, and this is not a, it's not like a spoiler or anything, but obviously some people's reviews, there was one review, I don't know who did the review, but this is, the review, and I quote, was, "This is the most Chris Pine has ever been." And I do not know how to sum up Chris Pine in this movie anymore. I really like the use of him in this part.
He has a very strong sense of his humor is his identity, and his identity is his humor.
Yeah.
And they've just let him be.
Yeah.
Because of course, like, everyone else knows him really mostly. He's done lots of things, but most people know him from the Star Trek films.
Yeah.
But of course, in that, he has to be serious.
Yeah, he is more serious, but he's still got a little bit of his, like, his comedy in it. But it's just him just going full ham, really. And I really enjoyed it.
But that's the thing. This is the kind of film where the actors shouldn't take themselves seriously.
No.
It's like when we were talking about, John Hamm, Ask Fletch. Was it Ask Fletch?
Yeah.
Or was it Catch Fletch?
Catch Fletch.
You'll put the poster up of whichever one it was.
I'll put the poster up.
He just went for it. He didn't care about making a fool of himself.
Yeah.
And that's what this kind of film, because as I said, Dungeons and Dragons still has that connotation of nerd. Because it's like in the, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but we'll go for it, and you'll tell me if I'm spoiling it or not. But in the final bit where they're in the arena, they all have quality-looking clothes, don't they? Whereas some of the other people in the arena had proper like costumey, tacky,
proper like homemade cosplay.
yeah, almost to the point of I've got a tea towel on my head. I'm a knight kind of thing.
I'm a shepherd.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No,
I
100%.
appreciated that. I
Yeah,
clocked it, and I was like, I like that.
I did think the same.
You know.
And it's like,
but this kind of film where you've got, whilst you're all dolled up in professional-looking outfits, and you've got someone over there who looks like they've just taken their bed sheet and wrapped it around themselves and called them a bard.
Yeah.
You can't take yourself seriously. And I don't think any of the actors in this film took themselves seriously.
No, I agree. And this is it's actually also calling back to what we said about Helen Mirren in Shazam. I'd have really, even though she obviously was clearly enjoying herself, I'd have preferred her to go more ham it up.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a case of showing where you can ham things up because it is a fantasy world and you can do it. I felt actually that Hugh Grant was actually lacking a little bit because compared to what he was in, and I'm going to quote this because it is a quality movie, but Paddington 2.
Okay, yeah.
In Paddington 2, Hugh Grant was hamming it up and living the high life in that film. He was loving it. And that's obviously like that, and The Gentleman is what kind of give him his release of life.
Hugh Grant's gay, isn't he? Is he the one that's gay?
I don't know. He's married.
Is he married?
Married to a woman.
There's one of them. It's either him or one of the British actors is gay. Which one played Prince Charming in Shrek?
That's no, you're thinking of bloody
Richard something.
No, you. Hang on, I'll Google it.
Yeah,
first.
Google it. Because I just feel like they basically just asked him to act like a gay guy in this one, and that's all they've done. Right, act like a gay guy. You know, because he's a bit flirty, he's a bit sort of, and that's kind of where his level goes, and that's where he stays at. He doesn't actually grow on that.
Yeah. No, I get that 100%. He's Rupert Everett.
Rupert Everett, that's it. I knew there was.
Yeah.
He's the gay one.
He's the gay one.
Yeah. I just feel like they've asked him to basically act it as if Rupert Everett was playing a slightly camp villain.
Yeah, I did get that. I would say that he was kind of not a letdown, but I feel like he could have probably done it a bit more extravagant.
Yeah, and
it would have been fine.
Considering he's a con man, he could have been a bit more over the top with his.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I do.
Considering like there's moments where he's got to be like acting one face with one person and then another face with another person. It could have been a much more not the word generational, like seismic shift.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, whereas there wasn't. It was just kind of a through line through it all.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Hugh Grant, even though he's a fantastic actor and a phenomenal actor, he was the weakest of the core cast.
Which is actually quite surprising because, and this is no disrespect, because I know, again, another quality movie, Detective Pikachu, because Justice Smith was in that as well.
Yeah.
Normally, and this is no disrespect, but normally younger actors tend to be the weaker one because they have less experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that a senior and more seasoned actor and who's done a lot of acting and has been acting for a long time felt to me the weakest out of the cast.
But for all we know, Justice Smith has had more hands-on directing, whereas, as I said, I feel like they've just told Hugh Grant, play it a little bit camp, and then they just let him do it.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, they haven't told him, we could do that a bit again, maybe a bit bigger, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, they might have been working to a tight budget as well and just said, that's good enough. And
we'll move on.
And move it.
Yeah.
But, overall, definitely a very good film. And, there's a few swears and things like that. You know, if you've got children of, I know it's like a 12.
It's a 12A.
Yeah, but I mean, but
So they're allowed, I think, one swear, isn't it?
they're allowed like 2 or X, Y, and Z. But what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to home, definitely like 10-year-olds can watch it and still have. There was one jump scare that got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a jump scare that got me. I was quite impressed with that. It was the
Spoilers. Don't you
You know what I mean.
You can say it to me afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Final thoughts.
You're busy at work or like with the new financial year. Yay, love it. And also people forgetting that it's Easter. Like Christmas is the same time every year. So the companies prepare for Christmas.
I know.
People seem to forget Easter, and so there's like a rabid shift right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to get this done before Easter weekend. It's like you knew Easter weekend was coming.
I know,
Anyway.
but Easter has come around very quick.
Yes. So work is very busy.
I'm still ill.
Cold showers are horrible. You're still ill. If you're a salesperson and I answer the phone, good luck.
So from now on, all salespeople, when you call somebody and a bloke answers, just go, "Is your name Ben Wimbledon?" And if they say yes, then just hang up.
Ask me where I live. I'll tell you.
Oh, I bet you will. And Dungeons and Dragons was a great film.
Good film. I wouldn't say great. Good.
Solid. Solid as a rock.
Okay.
We're going with musical things today. But on that note, thank you for joining us again this week.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Tell us, have you had any run-ins with salespeople? Have you tried the cold bath thing after gym?
Yeah.
How have you found it? Does it work for you? And have you ever been ill?
Have you ever been ill? That's lasted over a week and you just feel like death? Yeah, right. Okay. And have you seen Dungeons and Dragons? What did you think?
Let us know.
Let us know down below. Socials and stuff will be coming hopefully soon. We're all working on it.
We're learning at this. It's all a process.
It's all a process, and we are
getting
mere students.
Yes,
in the art of podcasting. But on that note, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us, and I'm sure we'll see you in the next one.
Yes.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.